Maya felt her heart racing as the alien princess' telepathic plea echoed in her mind, her medical training battling with the surreal reality of the situation. Before her, the crystalline spacecraft had carved a deep furrow into the forest floor, leaving shattered trees and smoldering earth in its wake. Ambient light pulsed from within the damaged vessel, casting eerie shadows across the impact site. As Maya approached cautiously, her medical scanner detecting unknown biological signatures. Unlike anything in human databases, the princess lay sprawled across what appeared to be a control panel, her exoskeleton cracked in multiple places, revealing fluorescent blue fluid seeping onto the alien technology. Time is critical, human, the princess projected into Maya's thoughts. Our biological systems are not compatible with your atmosphere. I have perhaps one planetary rotation before cellular degradation becomes irreversible. Maya assessed the situation with practiced efficiency. Despite the extraordinary circumstances, her years treating victims in conflict zones had prepared her for making quick decisions with limited information and resources. She unfolded her portable medical lab and began taking samples of the alien physiology, noting how the princess scales seemed to lose luminosity with each passing minute. Whatever she was going to do, she needed to act fast. Military and government vehicles would arrive soon. She could already hear distant helicopters approaching. Maya made a split-second decision that would change humanity's future forever. She would not wait for authorities. She would not surrender this unprecedented medical challenge to bureaucrats and soldiers who might view the alien as a threat rather than a patient. I can help you, but we need to leave immediately, Maya said aloud, while thinking the words clearly in her mind, uncertain how the telepathic communication worked. Can you move at all, or shall I attempt to stabilize you here? Movement is possible, but limited, the princess responded, her three primary eyes blinking in sequence. I have activated stealth protocols to mask our energy signatures temporarily, but your world's detection systems will soon calibrate. Maya quickly administered a stabilizing polymer to seal the leaking exoskeleton wounds using techniques she'd developed for treating severe trauma, then helped the princess into a semi-upright position. The alien was surprisingly light, her internal structure clearly adapted for a different gravitational environment. Together, they moved away from the crash site toward Maya's research facility, the princess leaning heavily against the human healer as they navigated through the dark forest. Overhead military aircraft circled the crash site's searchlights, cutting through the trees as Maya guided them through a ravine to avoid detection. Her mind racing with possible treatments, calculating what human medical technologies might be adapted for alien physiology. She had spent years developing unconventional healing methodologies that had been rejected by mainstream medicine. Perhaps those very theories would now save this otherworldly visitor. The princess' telepathic voice grew weaker with each step. My mission was to establish peaceful contact with your species. We have been monitoring Earth's development for generations, waiting for the right moment. Events forced my hand. Our intelligence indicated your facility contained advanced genetic research that might be compatible with our biology. I specifically sought you, Maya Chen. How do you know my name? Maya thought as they approached the hidden entrance to her underground laboratory, built beneath what appeared to be an abandoned mining operation. We have observed your work, your approaches to healing that your own kind dismissed as too experimental, too intuitive. Your understanding of genetic adaptability exceeds most on your planet. You see connections, others miss. You follow instinct when data seems insufficient. These are qualities my species once possessed, but have lost through technological dependence. We need human intuition. Maya Chen, my people are dying, not just me, but our entire civilization is facing genetic collapse. Only by combining our knowledge can both our species survive what comes next. As they entered the secure facility, Maya realized she was not just treating one alien patient, she was potentially determining the future relationship between two sentient species. The weight of that responsibility settled on her shoulders as she helped the princess onto her experimental medical platform and began calibrating equipment for xenobiological analysis. The experimental regenerative compound began to flow through the intravenous delivery system. Maya had jury rigged to accommodate the princess' alien physiology, the luminescent blue fluid mixing with the princess' own iridescent circulatory fluid, creating swirling patterns beneath her translucent scales. Maya monitored vital signs on equipment never designed for extraterrestrial biology, relying more on intuition than data as the facility security systems blared warnings of approaching vehicles. They found us sooner than I anticipated, Maya thought as she worked, watching Celaura's breathing stabilize slightly. The princess' third eye opened, focusing on the human. They tracked the quantum signature of my ship, the princess projected weakly, her thoughts fragmented with pain. Your military has technology provided by rival factions who wish to prevent our alliance. They will not simply detain me, they will dissect me, take my technology, reverse engineer it for weapons. Maya felt cold dread settle in her stomach as she realized the magnitude of what was happening. Humanity, once simply making first contact, they were being drawn into an existing galactic conflict with Earth as the prize-heavy boots thundered on the floors above as tactical teams breached the main facility. How much longer for the treatment to work? Maya asked, checking the compound flow rate. Unknown. Your biology is unlike anything in our database, the princess responded. The genetic markers in your compound are interacting with my cellular structure in unexpected ways. I feel changes occurring beneath my consciousness. The lab door shuddered as something heavy slammed against it. Maya grabbed additional vials of the compound and her research tablet, backing toward the emergency exit. The princess struggled to rise, her limbs trembling with effort. I can't move you in this condition, Maya projected mentally as the door began to give way. But I'm not leaving you either. Evacuation is unnecessary. The princess' thoughts suddenly became stronger, more focused, as her scales brightened with renewed energy. The compound is accelerating neural pathway regeneration, temporary enhancement of dormant genetic potential. Before Maya could respond, the princess rose from the medical platform, her movements becoming fluid and purposeful, her center eye glowing with intense blue light. The pounding at the door stopped abruptly, replaced by confused shouting and the sound of weapons being discharged. I have temporarily disrupted their neural patterns, the princess communicated. They will recover in moments. We must establish connection now. Connection? Maya questioned as Celaura moved toward her with unexpected speed. Our species can form temporary biological links in times of crisis, she explained, placing 3 elongated digits against Maya's temple. I would not suggest this under normal circumstances. The blending of our consciousness may have unforeseen consequences, but we have no choice. Maya felt a surge of electricity race through her nervous system as the princess established contact images, flooded her mind, star maps, genetic codes, histories of civilizations, rising and falling across thousands of years, knowledge too vast for her human brain to process. All at once her knees buckled as Celaura caught her, steadying her with surprising strength. The door exploded inward as tactical teams in hazmat suits burst through, weapons raised, but the princess raised her free hand, a wave of energy emanating from her palm, freezing the soldiers in place, their movements slowed to imperceptible crawls. I cannot maintain this temporal field for long, Celaura communicated directly into Maya's mind, her thoughts now crystal clear. We must reach my secondary transport coordinates have been uploaded to your neural pathways. Maya gasped as information suddenly organized itself in her thoughts like memories she never knew she had, including coordinates to a location 50 miles north and operational knowledge of alien technology that should have been incomprehensible to her human mind. What have you done to me? She thought as they moved past the nearly motionless soldiers. Given you knowledge that would take decades to learn otherwise, the princess responded. My blood and yours have begun a process that cannot be reversed. We are becoming connected in ways neither of our species fully understands. The compound you created was the catalyst for something your scientists have theorized but never achieved: controllable directed evolution. The Zif vessel hummed with energy as Maya tried to orient herself After the disorienting teleportation, her human senses, overwhelmed by the alien environment, strange geometric patterns, flowed across translucent walls, while atmospheric adjustments created a breathable zone around her. The air tinged with cinnamon and ozone. Maya steadied herself against a crystalline column as Zith crew members surrounded them, their multifaceted eyes reflecting suspicion and alarm. Intruder contamination containment protocol initiated. A metallic voice announced as barriers of energy began to form around Maya. Override royal authorization. Genetic signature confirmed. The princess commanded, her voice resonating with newfound strength. This human is under my protection and will be accorded full diplomatic status. The barriers dissipated reluctantly as Solara stood taller, her royal markings pulsing with renewed vitality. The senior medical officer approached, mandibles clicking in agitation. Your Highness, this primitive species carries countless pathogens that could compromise ship systems, the officer protested, not to mention the unprecedented breach of security protocols, bringing an uncleared sentient aboard a royal vessel without decontamination. Maya felt a surge of indignation, but before she could respond, Solara raised a four-fingered hand, silencing the officer. This human has done what none of your advanced methods could achieve. She saved my life. When your treatments failed, she demonstrated intuitive understanding of biological systems that our technology missed entirely. The princess tone left no room for argument. Now prepare a full biological scan of both myself and the human healer. I want comprehensive analysis of the changes occurring at the cellular level. Maya found herself escorted to a medical chamber unlike anything human science had imagined. Crystalline instruments extended from walls surrounding her, scanning with pulses of colored light that seemed to pass through her body, revealing layers beneath skin and bone. Data streams projected onto hovering displays as Zith medical technicians chittered excitedly among themselves. Impossible, one technician explained, examining the readings. The human's experimental compound has accelerated Your Highness genetic repair protocols beyond projected parameters, but more concerningly, it appears to have activated dormant sequences in both your genome and the human's. Prioritize findings on display. Show me the critical interactions, Solara commanded. Now projected on a floating screen beside Maya was an intricate molecular map showing human and Zith DNA strands intertwining at specific junction points, where the regenerative compound had created bridges between incompatible genetic structures. Fascinating, the princess whispered, her scientific curiosity temporarily overriding royal protocol. The compound created spontaneous adaptation at the molecular level, forcing compatibility where none should exist. Maya studied the display, her medical knowledge enhanced by the neural connection with Solara, allowing her to comprehend the complex data. What I don't understand is why this worked. She thought my compound was experimental even by human standards. It shouldn't have been compatible with alien biology. Precisely, the senior medical officer interjected, as if hearing her thoughts. Your primitive approach should have killed Her Highness. Instead, it appears to have triggered evolutionary adaptations in both species that should take millennia to develop naturally. The implications are concerning, to say the least. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the vessel, bringing the medical analysis to an abrupt halt. The ship's captain appeared on a floating display. Royal Highness, we have detected multiple launch signatures from the planet's surface. Primitive nuclear weapons, but guided toward our position. Cloaking systems have been compromised. We suspect royal infiltration of the humans' defense systems. Maya felt her blood run cold as understanding dawned. My government thinks they're defending Earth against invasion, she projected to Solara. They don't understand what's happening. The princess turned to Maya, her expression grave. According to our intelligence, your military possesses weapons provided by the Vrol Dominion, our ancient enemies. They have been manipulating your species, preparing you as proxies for galactic conflict. The Vril care nothing for humanity, seeing your people only as cannon fodder and your planet as a strategic position. We need to communicate with Earth leadership, Maya insisted. Explain the situation before this escalates into something that destroys both our peoples. Communication may be impossible, the captain responded. The Vrol technology includes signal jammers specifically designed to prevent direct contact during first contact scenarios, standard operating procedure in their conquest protocols. Then we have less than 15 minutes to prevent interstellar war, Solara stated. We must demonstrate our peaceful intentions while simultaneously neutralizing the incoming weapons without harming the humans or their infrastructure. The genetic bond between human and Zith royal blood created ripples of consequence throughout the chamber as Maya collapsed to the polished crystal floor, her human physiology overwhelmed by the neural download. Solara rushed to her side, royal guards forming a protective circle around them, both unprecedented in Zith protocol, where touching a royal was punishable by death. The princess ignored centuries of tradition as she placed a stabilizing hand on Maya's forehead, transferring cooling energy to ease the burning fever of neural integration. She survives the transformation, Solara announced, her voice echoing across a suddenly silent chamber. This confirms what the ancient texts predicted about human compatibility with our species. The High Council members shifted uncomfortably on their crystalline thrones. As the implications settled upon them like heavy stones, Maya forced herself to rise despite the pain, ribbons of blood still trailing from her eyes, yet her vision had never been clearer. She could see spectrum ranges beyond human capacity, perceiving the subtle energy fields surrounding each Sith counselor, revealing their emotional states despite their carefully controlled exteriors. I speak now with the voice of both worlds. Maya projected her thoughts amplified through the chamber's resonance system using knowledge she had not possessed minutes earlier. The conspiracy against your princess was not simply political, it was existential. The genetic degradation affecting your species was deliberately engineered 3 generations ago by those who sought to control the evolutionary direction of the Sith Empire. Gasps and angry chittering erupted throughout the chamber as Maya projected genetic data streams onto the central display using the neural interface. She had accessed their most secured biological archives, displaying proof that could not be disputed or denied. For centuries, your species has relied on technology to solve biological problems, Solara added, moving to stand beside Maya shoulder to shoulder, creating a powerful visual symbol of cooperation. Your scientists enhanced your evolutionary path through artificial means, abandoning the intuitive biological adaptability that once made our species resilient. But the cost was hidden from you. Deliberate genetic markers were inserted that would ensure each generation becomes more dependent on technological solutions controlled by specific houses. The lead conspirator, a council elder named Vrex, rose to his feet, mandibles clicking in fury. This primitive creature speaks blasphemy. These claims are designed to disrupt our sacred traditions and weaken our evolutionary superiority. Is it blasphemy to reveal truth? Maya responded, her voice stronger now. Or is the true sacrilege the deliberate sabotage of your species' genetic future for political control? I have accessed your ancient medical archives, comparing them with current genome sequences. The degradation is accelerating. Within 3 generations, the Zith will lose reproductive capability, entirely becoming completely dependent on artificial gestation technology controlled by House Vrex. The chamber erupted in chaos as royal guards surrounded Elder Vrex, who reached for a concealed weapon. But before violence could erupt, Maya projected a new data stream onto the display. There is a solution, she announced, one that requires neither conquest nor subjugation. Human genetic material contains specific markers that can restore what your species has lost: the adaptability, the intuitive healing processes, the capacity for biological rather than technological evolution. My treatment of Princess Solara was merely the first demonstration of what cooperation between our species could achieve. The High Council first speaker raised a ceremonial staff, calling for order. The evidence is compelling, he admitted, but untested. We cannot restructure our civilization on the word of an alien healer and a princess who may be compromised. We offer proof beyond data, Solara declared, then shocked the assembly by drawing a ceremonial blade across her palm, her royal blood shimmering with iridescent light before she reached for Maya's hand. Maya understood instinctively, extending her own palm. allowing Solara to create a matching worm their blood, mingling in full view of the High Council, a sacred ritual not performed in 10,000 years of Sith history. As their blood combined, a visible reaction occurred, ripples of golden light spreading up both their arms, illuminating genetic changes occurring in real time. By the ancient protocols, I claim this human as genetic kin. Solara proclaimed, her voice ringing with royal authority. The blood bond cannot be denied by council or law. Our futures are now biologically linked. To deny this partnership is to deny the future of our species. As Maya's genetic transformation accelerated, she found herself increasingly isolated even among her fellow scientists. Her lab had become both sanctuary and prison, monitored by government agencies and alien diplomats alike. Her skin now contained patches of iridescent scales that glowed faintly in darkness, while her enhanced senses detected threats before they manifested. From her apartment window, she watched demonstrations in the streets below, humans carrying signs both supporting and condemning alien integration. The peaceful exchange program shared established with Solara had quickly evolved beyond their control. A sharp pain lanced through Maya's temple as another vision assaulted her consciousness, images of children with strange abilities confronting terrified parents, cities in flames as faction fought faction, the timeline accelerating with each passing day. She steadied herself against the wall as the vision faded, leaving behind the metallic taste of blood in her mouth. These precognitive episodes were becoming more frequent, more detailed, and increasingly apocalyptic. Her secure communication device chimed with an encrypted message from the Sith embassy. Solara requesting an emergency meeting away from monitoring systems. Maya slipped the device into her pocket and prepared to leave, donning a hooded coat to hide her increasingly non-human features. She caught her reflection in the mirror, her eyes now containing faceted surfaces like Sith optics, allowing her to see radiation spectrums invisible to normal humans. Just how much of me remains human, she wondered, not for the first time. The underground transportation system provided some anonymity as Maya made her way across the city, careful to avoid facial recognition systems and the growing number of purist vigilantes who hunted those showing signs of alien modification. The genetic enhancements spreading through her body provided advantages, but also marked her as something other than human. Research colleagues had begun avoiding her, while military scientists observed her with predatory interest, many seeing her changing body as the key to biological weapons development rather than medical breakthroughs. Maya exited the transport 3 stops before her destination, using maintenance tunnels to approach the meeting location from an unexpected direction, her enhanced hearing detecting surveillance drones. Overhead, the abandoned manufacturing facility had been converted into a neutral meeting ground, its walls lined with signal-blocking material, preventing both human and alien monitoring. Sweeping the area with a handheld scanner, Maya confirmed the location was secure before signaling Solara. The princess materialized from what appeared to be solid wall, her camouflage technology deactivating as she approached. Her royal markings dulled to minimize visibility. They embraced briefly, their synchronized biorhythms creating momentary comfort before harsh reality reasserted itself. "We have a critical problem," Solara began without preamble. "Our intelligence networks have identified multiple incidents of unauthorized blood exchanges occurring across 17 countries, humans willingly providing genetic material to alien visitors in exchange for technological enhancements or simply out of curiosity." Maya nodded grimly. "My sources confirm the same. Rogue medical providers are facilitating exchanges without understanding the consequences. Unauthorized clinics appearing in major cities, genetic tourism becoming an underground industry beyond governmental control. What they don't understand," Solara continued, "is that not all alien biology is compatible with humans. Some combinations produce catastrophic results. My scientists have identified at least 12 cases of accelerated cellular degradation, resulting in death, while others produce psychological instabilities, aggression, paranoia, messiah complexes. Worse yet," Maya added, "security agencies have begun weaponizing hybrid individuals, testing their enhanced capabilities for military applications. A research facility in Northern Europe is already training children born with telepathic abilities to breach secure communications, while corporate interests are patenting specific genetic combinations, creating ownership claims on hybrid human biology. Solara moved to a holographic display activating images from around the world humans with various stages of alien modification protesters demanding rights for hybrid security forces containing riots at modification clinics, then the most disturbing footage hybrid children manifesting abilities beyond other parent species, a young girl manipulating gravitational fields, a boy communicating with electronic systems directly through thought. The evolutionary cascade is happening faster than predicted. Solara said, her voice heavy with concern. The ancient safeguards within my people's genetics were designed to prevent uncontrolled adaptation, but human DNA lacks these restrictions, creating unpredictable expressions of dormant genes. Which explains my visions. Maya concluded, seeing possibilities rather than certainties, potentials rather than fixed futures. Without intervention, the conflict between purists and integrationists will escalate beyond control. Maya's sense of betrayal burned like acid as she navigated the harsh wilderness of the Zith homeworld, each step taking her further from the glittering spires of the royal compound and deeper into the forbidden territories where even royal guards feared to tread. Her enhanced physiology adapted to the alien environment with surprising efficiency, lungs filtering the heavy metals in the atmosphere, skin adjusting to the intense radiation from the binary stars overhead. The princess' deception cut deeper than any physical wound, yet Maya could not deny the logic behind it. Genetic samples preserved could mean salvation for both species, even as a means of collection violated trust. Night fell quickly on this side of the Zith homeworld, plunging the landscape into darkness, illuminated only by bioluminescent flora that pulsed with warming colors. As Maya approached the deeper she ventured into the wilderness, the more primitive the surroundings became a stark contrast to the technological marvels of the royal city's ancient stone structures emerged from the darkness, their surfaces carved with symbols that seemed to shift and change, as if alive. Maya felt drawn toward a massive temple structure, its entrance flanked by weathered statues depicting Zith ancestors with distinctly different anatomical features than their modern descendants. The genetic time bomb information downloaded into her mind during her escape provided coordinates to this exact location. Clearly, Solara's betrayal had limits. She had wanted Maya to find this place. Eventually, tracking devices embedded in her diplomatic garments had been designed to fail at precisely the right moment, creating a path that appeared random but actually led here. A message waited in Maya's neural implant, set to activate when she reached the temple perimeter. Forgive the deception, Maya, but certain truths can only be discovered not given. The royal houses would eliminate any who spoke of our true origins. What awaits you inside is known to fewer than 12 living Zith. Trust your human intuition. It will guide you where our logic cannot. Solara. The massive stone doors parted at Maya's approach, recognizing genetic markers in her hybrid physiology that matched neither pure human nor pure Zith patterns. Cool air rushed outward, carrying sense of ancient preservation compounds and the unmistakable signature of dormant biological systems. The entrance hall stretched before her, illuminated by her own bioluminescent skin patches, the walls covered in mathematical formulas and genetic sequences that Maya recognized as precursor science to modern Zith technology. Movement in the shadows alerted her to presences watching from hidden chambers, her enhanced vision detecting heat signatures of beings concealing themselves in recessed alcoves. She continued forward, unflinching, until reaching a central chamber where a circle of robed figures emerged from darkness, surrounding her, their features more angular than modern Zith, their scales duller, but somehow more natural-looking. The human hybrid has arrived as the simulations predicted. The apparent leader spoke, their voice containing harmonics that modern Zith speech lacked. We are the unmodified, the keepers of true Zith heritage, before the genetic manipulations, before the technological dependencies. You knew I would come, Maya stated. It was to question. We have calculated probable timelines since the first genetic sequences were altered by the precursors. The leader explained, your arrival represents the convergence point of 7,000 years of probability, tracking the moment when unaltered human genetics would interact with royal Zith bloodlines, creating the bridge necessary to reverse the extinction protocol. Extinction protocol, Maya questioned, though fragments of understanding were already assembling in her mind, the downloaded memories from Solara finally connecting with the ancient knowledge surrounding her. The leader gestured toward a central platform where a holographic display activated, showing the complete Zith genome, alongside various stages of manipulation, spanning millennia. Our ancestors were not designed as weapons from the beginning, the leader explained. We were sovereign beings with our own evolutionary path. Until the precursors arrived, they saw potential in our adaptability, our intuitive connection to biological systems qualities they had lost in their own technological evolution. They elevated us, the leader continued with obvious bitterness, accelerated our development through genetic manipulation, creating specialized abilities, enhanced intelligence, faster maturation, but each enhancement contained hidden costs, time, delayed genetic degradation markers, ensuring that we would eventually become dependent on their technology for survival. The true purpose, Maya realized with horrifying clarity, studying the genetic sequences. With a hybrid perception, they didn't want weapons, they wanted vessels. Precisely, the leader confirmed the precursors' own biological forms were failing. Their consciousness needed new vessels that could sustain them. They designed us to be perfect hosts, our bodies eventually degrading to the exact point where consciousness transfer would seem like salvation rather than invasion. The precursor activation codes pulsed with hypnotic energy as Maya accessed the ancient repository, her hybrid neurology uniquely suited to interfacing with technology designed for minds both more and less than human. The stasis pods, containing the original unmodified Zith, hummed with renewed power as dormant systems recognized her genetic signature as the prophesied bridge between species. The royal guards surrounding her position kept their distance, clearly unnerved by technology predating their civilization, their weapons trained on her, yet hesitant to fire in this sacred space. Maya delved deeper into the activation sequence, each layer of security yielding to her hybrid approach, where pure logic or pure intuition alone would have failed. The genetic memory transfer had shown her fragments of the original Zith civilization, before modification their natural biological intuition and adaptation capabilities that had made them perfect targets for precursor experimentation. She understood now why Solara had been drawn to human medical practices. The princess had instinctively recognized qualities her own species had lost. Your deception was necessary, Maya acknowledged as Solara approached her royal guards, parting reluctantly to allow their princess passage. You needed to confirm. I would choose healing over power. Solara nodded, her royal markings pulsing with emotion. I had to know if humanity would follow our path, prioritizing technological solutions and power hierarchies, or if he represented something we had lost the capacity to see beyond data, to feel the connections between living systems. The ancient systems responded to their combined presence as Maya and Solara stood together before the central control interface, their genetically linked biosignatures creating unexpected synergies in the precursor technology. Holographic displays burst into vibrant life, showing the complete evolutionary history of the Zith alongside projected futures with and without human integration. The extinction protocol appears as mathematical certainty in all projections without human genetic input. Solara observed her scientific training, allowing her to interpret the complex simulations. The precursors engineered multiple failsafes to ensure we would eventually become their vessels. But they never encountered humans, Maya added, seeing patterns in the data that Solara missed. Your species evolved along controlled parameters, while mine developed through chaotic natural selection, creating genetic expressions. The precursors never anticipated human DNA contains markers that can disrupt their programming, not by opposing it, but by introducing randomness they cannot predict. We cannot simply broadcast the correction sequence. Maya continued, studying the potential consequences. If the changes happened too quickly, the shock to biological systems would kill millions across multiple species, and those who survive might develop abilities beyond control or comprehension. The evolutionary cascade must be carefully managed. The facility shuddered as explosions echoed from the upper levels. The rogue Zith faction had launched their assault earlier than anticipated. Royal Guards took defensive positions as Solara activated emergency protocols, sealing the ancient repository from outside interference. "We have perhaps one planetary rotation before they breach the primary security systems," Solara stated, her tactical training evident in her precise assessment. Maya noticed how the princess had subtly positioned herself between Maya and the most likely attack vector, a protective gesture that transcended diplomatic protocol. "One rotation will be sufficient," Maya responded, her hands moving across the interface with increasing confidence as she internalized the ancient systems. A time together had created profound changes in both of them, Solara developing human intuitive leaping, where Zith training would have demanded methodical progression, while Maya had gained Zith precision without sacrificing her adaptive thinking. "What exactly are you attempting?" Solara asked, watching as Maya reconfigured systems in ways the ancient caretakers had never considered. "The precursors designed the extinction protocol with absolute mathematical precision," Maya explained, "but they failed to account for something even more fundamental than genetics, consciousness itself, the capacity for conscious choice to transcend biological programming. If we modify the activation sequence to target identity formation rather than physical expression, we can preserve beneficial adaptations while preventing dangerous mutations." "You propose to alter the fundamental nature of consciousness itself," one of the royal guards interrupted, clearly alarmed by the implications. "Such manipulation violates every principle of evolutionary sovereignty." "No," Maya corrected without looking up from her work. "I propose to restore your species' capacity for self-determination. The extinction protocol was always about removing choice-making biological destiny. Inevitable. What I'm doing is reintroducing the capacity for conscious evolution within safe parameters." The hybrid children, their abilities emerging faster than any model predicted, became both hope and terror for multiple worlds, their developing minds struggling to integrate power beyond evolutionary precedent. Maya monitored data feeds from 17 treatment centers across Earth and 3 off-world colonies, her enhanced cognition processing hundreds of cases, simultaneously identifying patterns no pure human or pure Sith mind could perceive. One particular case captured her attention: a 6-year-old girl in Singapore who effortlessly manipulated quantum probabilities around her, creating localized reality fluctuations simply through emotional responses. "We need to accelerate distribution of the stabilizer," Maya communicated to Solara across their secure channel. "The emergence curve is steepening exponentially in the youngest subjects. Emotional regulation centers in developing brains cannot contain these abilities without support." Solara responded, immediately transferring resources from royal reserves to production facilities, ignoring protocols that had governed Zith resource allocation for millennia. The princess had changed during their partnership, developing human adaptability and decisiveness while retaining Zith precision, the combination making her simultaneously the most effective and controversial royal in generations. Her enemies in the traditional houses grew more vocal with each protocol she violated, yet the results spoke volumes. The stabilizer worked, demonstrations of controlled enhancement without genetic chaos convinced even skeptical species to contribute biological samples to the program. On the orbital research station, Maya consulted with a coalition of xenobiologists from 23 worlds, each contributing unique perspectives to the evolutionary framework. They were constructing the artificial environment hummed with activity as researchers from traditionally hostile species worked side by side, the common threat of uncontrolled genetic cascade, superseding ancient conflicts. Even the notoriously isolationist Vreth had sent representatives, their crystalline bodies containing biological secrets that proved vital to refining the stabilizer for silicon-based lifeforms. Proximity alert: Maya received notification of an unauthorized approach seconds before alarms activated throughout the station. Hostile craft incoming. Her enhanced senses detected the quantum signature of roll technology moments before communications systems confirmed the threat. A strike team from the same faction that had attempted to weaponize hybrid genetics was approaching under stealth protocols. Selara materialized on the command deck, her royal transport having been minutes away. When the alert sounded initialize emergency protocols, she ordered evacuation of non-essential personnel to secure sub-level and prepare defensive systems. The princess had anticipated this attack, increasing security measures despite diplomatic objections from more conservative species. The primary research is secured. Maya confirmed, having already transferred critical data to quantum-encrypted backups distributed across multiple systems. They cannot stop distribution of the stabilizer at this point. Implementation has reached critical mass. Even if they destroy this facility, the knowledge has spread too far. But they can still create panic by targeting visible symbols of cooperation. Selara noted the attack isn't about stopping the science, it's about sowing fear and distrust between species. The Vrale's strategy has always focused on division rather than direct conquest. Maya understood immediately, activating her neural interface to broadcast emergency instructions to hybrid children worldwide. The stabilizer had created an unexpected side effect, linking enhanced humans through a subtle quantum entanglement, not true telepathy, but a shared awareness that allowed coordinated response to threats. The young hybrids accessing this network reported unusual activity near major population centers, role operatives positioning themselves to create maximum civilian casualties. When their attack on the orbital station was publicized, it's not just the station they're targeting. Maya realized it's a synchronized strike designed to create species-wide panic and retaliation. Humans blaming aliens for the station destruction, while simultaneous attacks on Earth will make aliens suspect human betrayal. Evacuation indicators showed civilians moving efficiently towards secure areas as Maya and Selara coordinated defense preparations through their shared neural link. Years of working together had created communication beyond words, precise tactical coordination that confused their attackers as defense systems activated in unpredictable patterns. The Vrale approach relied on logical progression, while Maya and Selara's hybrid command style introduced controlled chaos into defensive algorithms, making their responses impossible to predict. We have 13 minutes before they breach outer defenses. Maya calculated, scanning approach vectors. We need to broadcast the truth before their disinformation campaign can take root. Humans and aliens alike need to understand this attack comes from those who profit from division, not from any participating species. The Galactic society that emerged in the decade following first contact bore little resemblance to the rigid hierarchies that had dominated interspecies relations for millennia. The Chen-Selara protocols had transformed not only biology, but social structures, economic systems, and philosophical frameworks. Species that once viewed genetic purity as sacred now recognize the strength that came from controlled integration, while maintaining unique evolutionary heritage. Maya observed this transformation from the educational compound she had established on Earth, where children from 17 species studied together, their differences celebrated as complementary rather than competitive. Beneath the visible societal changes lay a more profound shift in consciousness. The stabilized hybrid genetics had introduced capabilities that transcended physical adaptation, creating bridges between minds that traditional communication could never achieve. The children born after first contact, now entering adolescence, demonstrated unprecedented empathic connection across species barriers, experiencing the world through multiple perceptual frameworks, simultaneously understanding at the deepest level what it meant to the other while remaining secure in their own identity. Maya watched her daughter Lyra navigate these perceptual frameworks with natural ease. The girl had inherited her mother's intuitive problem-solving and Selara's precise analytical abilities, but possessed something uniquely her own: a capacity to synthesize seemingly contradictory concepts into new forms of understanding. Lyra approached the ancient mathematical problem displayed on the holographic interface, her mind engaging with it not as an abstract puzzle, but as a living system with patterns that connected to fundamental principles of existence. Others might see only mathematical symbols, Maya thought, but she perceives the underlying harmony, the relationships between numbers that reflect relationships between living systems. Selara joined them, her royal duties now balanced with teaching responsibilities at the compound, her once rigid posture softened by years among humans, while maintaining the dignity her position demanded. The princess royal markings had evolved just as she had new patterns emerging that reflected her unique life path, changes once considered impossible in Sith physiology. She sees it, Selara observed, watching their daughter work the solution that eluded mathematicians for 9,000 years. But she's not solving it in the traditional sense. Maya noted she's redefining the problem itself, approaching it from multiple perceptual frameworks simultaneously. Lyra completed her work, the holographic display transforming as she input her solution, not providing a single answer, but revealing interconnected layers of meaning that satisfied the mathematical requirements while expanding them into new dimensions of application. The ancient problem had asked for a quantity, but Lyra had revealed a process, a living mathematical ecosystem that evolved rather than concluded. This is what we fought for. Maya fought this capacity to transform limitation into possibility, not through conquest, but through healing, not through domination, but through integration. Beyond the educational compound, similar transformations occurred across human and alien societies. The genetic stabilization had prevented catastrophic mutations, while preserving beneficial adaptations, allowing controlled evolution rather than chaotic change. The once terrifying hybrid children had become bridges between worlds, their unique perspectives, solving problems that had plagued individual species for generations: resource allocation disputes, territorial conflicts, communication barriers, all yielding to approaches that recognized interconnection rather than opposition. Earth had transformed as well, from potential battlefield to central nexus of interspecies cooperation. Human adaptability paired with alien precision, creating technological and societal innovations that benefited all participating worlds. The primitive planet, once considered valuable only for strategic position, now hosted the most prestigious educational institutions, research facilities, and diplomatic centers in known space, drawing scholars and leaders from across the galaxy. The extremists still existed, of course, fundamentalists on all sides who viewed integration as corruption, who clung to ideologies of separation and purity, but their influence diminished with each generation as practical benefits of cooperation became undeniable. Maya had learned that evolution, whether biological or social, could not be forced, only guided, creating conditions where natural selection favored cooperation over conflict, connection over division. As Maya watched her daughter present her solution to visiting dignitaries from across the galaxy, she felt the familiar presence of Selara in their shared mental space. The genetic bond between them had deepened over years of partnership, creating a connection that transcended both human and Sith understanding without erasing their individual identities.